trying to get at here. But even that is still the big picture in the human domain, right? The geopolitical domain. What I'm trying to say is there's a higher kind of spiritual reality that, Alex does talk about pretty consistently. And Rose talks about it in the same way, where he says at that highest level, the highest sort of initiation level, you could say, into the dark arts of Satanism, Luciferianism, transhumanism, is a total anti-human, anti-existence. Just destroy this whole reality, ultimately. That's what I think. Satan ultimately wants that, right? Non-being. Because if God is the creator, author of being, what's the highest level of rebellion against creation, against God? To go against being itself, right? Anti-being. It's Jay Dyer from Jay's Analysis. Thank you for letting me host. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Alex Jones Show, and you can follow my stuff at jaysanalysis.com, and also my books. You get signed copies of Esoteric Hollywood 1 and 2.
Orwell canceled? Journalist says vile author aided Nazis. Quote, Orwell was a total fraud. Article by Paul Joseph Watson. Despite being dead for 70 years, George Orwell may become the latest public figure to be canceled after a left-wing journalist called him a vile man who aided the Nazis with his strident criticism of Stalinist Russia. Yes, really.
In addition to being a government snitch, fraud George Orwell spent World War II demonizing the USSR as it defeated Nazism,
tweeted Ben Norman.
As the Red Army sacrificed millions fighting Hitler, and as the Nazi regime shoved Jews into gas chambers, Orwell was writing Animal Farm. Vile man,
he added. Norton followed up by denouncing the 1984 author as, quote, reactionary who hated communists more than fascists. Before claiming Orwell, quote, didn't actually believe in free speech, he wanted to take away the free speech of communists, Orwell was a total fraud. Respondents pointed out that criticizing Stalinism would kill
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not fucking dying for an oil company.
Fascist enabler. Norman was also accused of historical inaccuracies. To be fair to Norman, he does appear to be a supporter of free speech and an opponent of deplatforming. However, this once again underscores how cancel culture is not merely just pushback on opinions considered to be offensive, but just as we have seen with attempts to topple statues of Winston Churchill, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson, the woke mob is so intent on rewriting history and imposing a cultural revolution.
Yeah, they're gonna rewrite it so that you don't remember it and your kids don't remember it.
I'm Millie Weaver reporting.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. Ladies and gentlemen, every broadcast is jam-packed, but this one is going to be particularly jam-packed on this live July 9th, 2020 worldwide broadcast. Again, we are 116 days out from the election. We have Roger Stone joining us with exclusive information concerning a lot of very important things you can probably imagine. I'll leave it up to him. Coming up at the bottom of the second hour. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled against the president, at least on the surface, about his tax returns. Rules Manhattan District Attorney can obtain Trump tax returns, but now it'll go back down to a lower court for another fight. You keep the records private for now, so it's another false victory. But in precedent and in law, you're not supposed to do this. And we saw the Clintons and others keep so much private, including their library, you name it. And so this is, again, nothing but presidential harassment. They will then harass.
That's because they have thugs backing them. They're a bunch of fucking thugs in the government.
Others have already
And no one's being hung for fucking treason or any shit like that.
But the Supreme Court says,
So we get what we fucking deserve.
Release of financial records. Trump rages at the Supreme. Subpoena scare. Gorsuch, Kavanaugh.
Come on, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Fucking die already.
So you see the establishment's just made up of a bunch of cowards. 7-2 decision rocks.
Oh, yeah. Most of the Supreme Court are a bunch of cowards.
The headlines up at Drudge Report.
Did you know that the Supreme Court ruled, I believe it was in 2013, I could be wrong, that it's not the cop's job to keep you safe, to keep the citizens safe? Now think about that.
Roger Stone joins us coming up at the bottom of the
So what do they do? Just generate revenue?
And it's so big that I just think I'm going to let him cover what he wants to cover. And I'm not even going to give any preludes or any hints. But let's just say this. In the next 6 days before he's scheduled to be sent to prison for a crime he didn't commit as a political prisoner, he's going to work to make this the exclusive first place he comes on. Now, if he gets pardoned or gets clemency in the next few days at 6 o'clock at night and I don't answer the phone immediately, and if I can't get a crew down here in 20 minutes, we won't get the exclusive. That's okay. I just want him to get clemency or pardon. So I told him just make the first phone call, and if we can't get stuff fired up, go ahead and go on fire.
Yeah, we are all Roger Stone because we could be railroaded at any time in a Democrat-controlled city. Didn't he live in New York or fucking California?
They've had people having CNN call up and misrepresent that Roger has told them things when he hasn't even talked to CNN. A lot of disinformation. And so expect them to really try some criminal stuff. They are a criminal organization. Also, Roger Stone has seen thousands of accounts, people he doesn't even know in most cases, or people he shook their hand at an event, who post stuff about Roger saying he's innocent. Facebook and others, Instagram, are calling it inauthentic activity and are banning people from supporting Roger and suspending or canceling their accounts. Same thing just happened to Bolsonaro. Thousands of Brazilians that promote his speeches, well, they're saying, well, that's inauthentic. Because Facebook can go in and read of the thousands of people posting his stuff and find one or two where somebody from the campaign or the president's office sends an email back or a message saying, thank you. And so there's any contact between Bolsonaro and them, that's called inauthentic. Even though Democrats can reach out to their millions of minions and activate them, socialists can do that in Brazil. He's not even allowed to send messages back over his Facebook, mass messages saying thank you. That's inauthentic. So this is, the whole internet is a giant control grid to suppress the populations. And we, the people of America and the West and the world, need to say no. We're not accepting the communist Chinese model. Now, we have the biggest COVID news yet. It seriously just gets crazier. All coming up on the other side. Infowars.com, newswars.com, tomorrow's news today. And we have in studio our EuropeWars.com reporter, Dan Lyman. The 4th of July.
Roger Stone was the target of a politically motivated prosecution by the dirty cops in the illegal Mueller investigation into Russian involvement with the Trump campaign, which you have correctly called a hoax.
There's no collusion between me and my campaign and the Russians.
There was never any evidence of collusion.
Mr. President, you are the only person that can get justice for Roger Stone. I appeal to you as an act of mercy and fairness to end this nightmare and pardon my husband or commute his sentence so he
Yeah, if something doesn't happen, the justice is dead.
Please, hear our prayers, Mr. President. The time for justice is now.
Sign the petition at freerogerstone.com.
$116. That's how many days to the historic election the Democrat deep state is openly trying to cancel. They're now officially coming out in the New York Times with their publication saying
We're doing a hell of a job. We're fucking slipping, son.
Debates, or it should be remote so they can put teleprompter statements up to Joe Biden so he can read off a screen.
He still can't read that shit.
That the last 15, 20 minutes of the debate should be mainstream media fact-checking the president to tell viewers he's full of crap. They are really
because the viewers are too stupid to fact-check their own fucking shit.
But no one more so than the president of
That's what's sad.
who has been standing up for our republic and trying to restore American strength, jobs, and national security. There is so much coming up today. Well, did the Supreme Court really rule against the president? They did in a 7-2 big majority. Kavanaugh and Gorsuch, both that he nominated, going against him. 7-2 decision rocks political world. Congress denied for now because what they really did on a technical.
I don't know why this asshole still uses Drudge. It's so fucking slanted.
Tax returns, but it is a circuitous route. Court rulings keep Trump's financial records private. For now, the Supreme Court allows prosecutor, but not Congress, to get financial records.
When in reality, you should be fucking getting news from the Liberty Daily. Just like Drudge without all the faggot shit.
District Attorney's Office, and I can tell you that office has been harassing the living hell out of thousands of prominent Trump supporters, not just in New York, but in the United States. And the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, ran on destroying Trump and his associates and supporters and was fully financed by George Soros, just like the mayor and district attorney in Chicago, just like the district attorney in St. Louis, like the district attorney in San Francisco, whose parents were in the Weatherman Underground. So that's what these frauds do. Letitia James knows she's a liar and knows she sent people that were healthy but positive for COVID-19 into nursing homes to get the death numbers up. She ordered the nursing homes to do that. And what's incredible is she put out a false statement.
Yeah, see, in Democrat-controlled cities, they're not going to fucking do anything about it. Not a goddamn thing. The prosecutors are fucking Democrats. They're all watching each other's back. Nothing's going to fucking happen unless you vote them out.
CNN says,
and even that might not happen.
Mexicans says there's a video. There is no video even close to that. But then it's up to Trump to disprove a negative. Like, when did you start raping or beating?
Like, why don't you bang your mom? Or when did you bang your mom?
They just keep doubling down with the lies.
People are sick and mentally ill, just like homosexuals.
Right now. I have pointed this out for 6 months, looking at the literature since this story began to arrive in January. Hard to believe it's already been 6 months. And it's said in the medical literature that in Taiwan and Hong Kong and Japan, they were having almost 100% success rate with people that came in with these type pneumonias because it was mainly an autoimmune response. And so with this particular phenomenon, giving them an anti-inflammatory.
So what's the phenomenon?
Steroid would knock it out through a nebulizer. And we'll tell you about that particular drug when we come back. But now a Texas doctor that headed up Rick Perry's task force for the state on health care for 7 years was at a conference in Dallas, and he was on a local TV show. And now the video has over 1 million views. And he talked about having total success rate with his emergency room patients with this steroid nebulized. They are now attacking him all over the news and saying he's a bad guy. And they went and interviewed the patients. They said, no, it's all true. Felix Money was sitting on my chest until I went on this, and within a day, it went away. Others said within 2 days. They said it was almost immediate when they nebulized it into the lungs. You can also do it in an inhaler. They know this. They knew this when the NIH followed the UN directives to put a intubation tube into the lungs, and then the last thing you want when they're inflamed is to expand them because it makes the blood vessels all break and they kill you. That's why the majority of the deaths were either old people in nursing homes or people on respirators. And doctors and nurses from New York to Missouri to Illinois to California have gone public saying, listen, the person would come in saying they were coughing, having trouble breathing, but that we wouldn't even try a steroid. We wouldn't even try hydroxychloroquine. We would just put a tube down their throat and they'd die. And you better watch out because they're opening new testing centers, hundreds of them a week. They're opening several today in Austin, big ones, taxpayer paid for, and people are running in to be COVID movie stars, to get 2 weeks off, to be, oh, I got it, I'm so cool. Almost all the tests are false positive. That's mainstream news. The federal guidelines admit almost all of it's false positives. If you've ever had a flu or coronavirus in the last decade. But you go in and say, oh, I'm having anxiety or I'm coughing or I've got the sniffles. They'll grab you, strap your ass down, and run a tube down your throat. They keep saying, we don't know why it's in the minority areas. That
they ain't running shit down my throat. I'll jump out a motherfucking window.
Eugenics run facilities that actually have the cult members in them that are killing you. I noticed Media Matters attacked me for this 3 months ago, and I said they're killing people on purpose in the hospitals. It has come out that they are. There is a contingent of cult members like the governor of Virginia that ran the organ harvesting of living babies that are in control, and the Democratic Party is a literal ghoul operation of devil.
It's a death cult.
That are doing this through the medical system. Now, I know that sounds insane. They are insane.
Watch what they do, not what they say.
Trying to play the governor going, we decided the woman wants the baby and the woman doesn't want the baby.
Oh, shit, they got us.
Well, resuscitate means you've died or your heart stopped and we restart it. But no, their term resuscitate's different in the Virginia law. They have a law there. So does New York, that you can keep babies alive for up to 2 weeks to a month, depending on the state, while you get the orders in to harvest them. Then you do a procedure, you harvest them, you suck their blood out, their skin, all of it, every little juicy drop of the 7-pound little ball of joy, 7 pounds, 6 ounces. She decided.
Somebody's gonna get murked over this shit. You mark my words.
It's legally not counted as a human. And then it passes through the fire of Moloch. And instead of having to harvest real quick,
basically just sacrificing babies to fucking the devil, basically.
Fresh juices. And they've tested all this out in communist China, and now it's been brought here. And they're, what is it?
Yeah, we've already broke our contract with God by murdering 6 million babies. 60 million, I think it is. 60 fucking million babies we've aborted in this country alone.
Winning, where the FDA was paying across the nation hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars total, for, quote, fresh baby parts with still beating hearts. Berkeley, in one particular filing that just came out last year, said, we want beating hearts. And so they would deliver them a baby, actually in a box, and they would butcher them right there on the spot. Just like I can pick up and order some hot wings or whatever. Now, where is PETA not caring about all this? And by the way, if you're a new listener and you're hearing this is all on record. Just type in university ordered beating hearts of babies or FDA ordered fresh baby parts. That just came out last week. There's thousands of these articles, so that's who they are. They want to murder you and your family. And they're hiding in plain view certain hospitals, certain facilities, blue states, blue cities, almost always Democrats. You got Republican doctors doing a great job caring. They, though, are naive until they brush up against them. But my dad in Dallas brushed up against them. He told me when I was going to get my driver's license, don't sign the organ donor card. Some hospitals, if you're in a car wreck, will kill you for your organs. Came out later on 60 Minutes. He was right about Dallas.
Hi, Bill. The worst crisis actor in the world, Alex Jones, announced on July 1st that Democrats and globalists backed by George Soros plan to launch a civil war on the 4th of July. I don't know. I missed it. Did you guys, were you part of that?
He said something.
Oh, that's what happened, you fucking idiot.
Obviously, absolutely not going to happen. And none of his followers are really going to care or challenge it or question it. Or...
They're not functioning on that same plane of reality, I think.
There's that.
Now, too many see the
young turds. Didn't their show get canceled on YouTube because they're a bunch of cunts?
Your fellow citizens to take...
Where the pistols at, man? Shoot some of these motherfuckers. You ain't taking me down, bitches. Oh yeah, not that easy, ho.
Civil War, and they get it 100% wrong, literally 72 hours after they predicted it. And it doesn't lead a single one of you to stop watching him, not you, but his fans.
Did you know that the NDAA legalized propaganda against the American people?
That you thought were...
And this is it in action right fucking here.
Yeah. And maybe this was the, and I'm not talking about Trump supporters specific, I'm just talking about people.
What the fuck isn't Trump doing something about that shit?
God, I feel just sick that I've said his name like twice now. I don't care about him, but I do care about some of his...
They fucking took my Austin and shit all over, dude. I'm so fucking pissed off about that shit.
Reach out to them and say that this is an insane...
Half of those motherfuckers probably aren't even from Austin.
He's trying to take your money for his paleo bone broth.
No one takes my money, bitch. I give my money freely. And how dare you wear an MLK shirt?
We must begin the work.
This brother fucker. What do you got to tell me, bitch? You fucked your brother to get in here illegally and married him.
He put up a video of him shooting like a machine gun or something. Like these people, they just...
It's not a machine gun, dipshit. Machine gun is fully automatic.
People so bad, and they are looking for an excuse to. When he says there's going to be a second civil war, okay, he's saying that he's not actually going to do anything. He just wants to continue barking at a camera and making money and all of that. But out of all of his supporters, some of whom are gun owners, some of whom believe that a civil war...
No, pretty much all of his supporters are gun owners.
Are you?
We know what's coming. We know what you Democrats are about, you liberals.
Libs start the second civil war. What was the odds that one of his followers would decide, you know what?
We know Black Lives Matter wants to destroy the patriarchy because it was created by two fucking fat radical black lesbians.
Lucky at this point that nothing actually happened, considering the size of his audience and the size of their insanity.
Your fucking Independence Day.
Come get some, bitch. Come get some. Come to the suburbs, ho. Come to the fucking suburbs.
World into being that can actually ensure the
you and your mentally ill homo friends and shit. Come on down.
Or if you still are caught up in this.
We got guns, we got body armor, we got food, we got it all. Come get it. Quit talking about it. Real gangsters just come and get it. They don't talk shit.
Agenda are not gonna happen while the second president of the Confederacy is in the White House. Let's work together to tear that statue down. Cool, buddy.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones.
If you just tuned in, I'm not trying to be macabre. I'm not trying to shock you. During the break, the crew heard me talking about it. They pulled it up. In court, CEO of abortion company admitted to harvesting beating baby hearts and delivering them on video to Berkeley and other universities.
Look at those dead eyes. She also looks like she might be a LGBTXYZQFTW.
Paid for fresh, never frozen baby parts. Now here's Breitbart. China's Cultural Revolution featured cannibal.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna go get another beer. I'll be right back.
But here's Business Insider. Flesh banquets of China's Cultural Revolution remain unspoken, where youth brigades went and grabbed even their parents, chopped them up, put them in cauldrons as an act of dominance, and ate them. Flesh banquets of China's Cultural Revolution remain unspoken. So I want you to understand the left is literally about death and destruction. They're not liberals. America was founded on liberal ideas. That means freedom. They've changed the definition. Leftist means left-hand path, or the path of Satan, the path of the devil. And in mainline history books, the Cultural Revolution of the French Revolution was run by Satanists, and they had human sacrifice, drank blood, ate bodies, ate baby parts. This is all real. So Hollywood pushes all this, but says, oh, Christians are nuts. This has never happened. Every culture ends up degenerating.
Christians are already the #1 attacked and killed fucking religion on the face of the planet. Look that up.
The ancient Germanics,
We've been under attack for a fucking long time.
the ancient Africans,
Time for another crusade.
all over.
But not for the Vatican this time.
They still eat each other. It's ritualistic. The men go out and hunt each other from the other tribes and then eat them for their essence. And so that's the Old Testament, where you have Abraham about to sacrifice his son, and then the angel comes and holds his hand and says, you don't need to do human sacrifice anymore. So the Old Testament, very early on, is about let's stop sacrificing children. And anybody that does it, you need to, what does the Old Testament say? If your neighbors are giving their children to Moloch,
put them in the dirt.
Actually says it in the Bible. If you are next to a group of people that are sacrificing children, kill them. Wipe them out. So the history books, the archaeology, the sociology, the anthropology, it's all kidnap, murder, eat children. Kidnap, murder,
kill, steal, and destroy.
And so we sit here in a Christian civilization in the fading light of it, going, that's ridiculous. There's no way they're keeping babies alive. I just showed you mainline news.
And they even admit it. I've seen the videos.
The Chinese model is what the left admits they're operating in. Okay, let me get into the COVID-19 developments. They come out and say only 15 days because the hospitals are going to be full. There's going to be 2.2, 2.5 million dead. Just stay in for 15 days. And then I said they'll never take it off. They'll loosen it a bit and then tighten it back up. They want this power. They want contact tracers. They want to be able to arrest you if you don't take forced inoculations or if you leave your house. And now counties all over the U.S. and some states are saying you leave your house 6 months in jail if you, quote, have COVID-19 or tested positive with a false positive or whatever. And then they come out with a vaccine. Then they come out with a forced inoculation. It's all pre-planned. So now the blue cities and blue states are going, well, we really don't want to have to do it, but it looks like we're going to have to do it again because of the spike in cases, 63,000 cases, the worst day ever. It's all caused by Republicans not staying in their houses. But Black Lives Matter and the left marching around everywhere, that's okay. So there's also a suspension of common sense and of logic and of mathematics here that you always see when you're inside of tyranny. So we have all of that. And so you have the mayor of Austin, the mayor of Houston, the mayor of LA.
Democrat. Well, the mayor of Texas, the governor of Texas isn't a Democrat, he's a rhino. Republican in name only.
And they know as new testing centers open every day in every state. I mean, Austin's got 2 opening this weekend. Everyone flocks to be part of the coolness. And his employers are told by their lawyers, well, you better just get everybody tested just to be safe. And then most of your staff are going to test positive because most people have had a coronavirus or a flu virus in the last.
So that's the goddamn flu cold virus. Holy shit, people are stupid.
That's not the majority of tests. You will show the
stop going to Snow.
That's in the literature, mainline, showing you the whole reports here. Governor admits it. Bunch of states refuse to do it, saying it's a fraud.
Shit, I read a scientific study the other day that said iodine on rats' noses killed almost every virus. The flu virus, the cold virus. I'll have to look that shit up and post it, but yeah. We're being fed a bunch of bullshit.
Those states have no COVID-19, basically. We have it horrible because we have testing centers everywhere. And to show that we're into the fear and into the falsehood, we wear the mask over our face that does absolutely nothing and is a total fraud. And the medical literature admits all of that. So here's some of the headlines. U.S. corona cases rise above 60,000, setting single day.
There's one article. I don't think it's the rat one.
should read, as testing continues to ramp up to record levels, the number of positives skyrockets and most positives are fraudulent. But no, now it's
apparently not. I'm gonna keep looking.
What matters. Not that the death numbers are going down. But see, once the fall comes and there's regular deaths from flu and regular deaths from pneumonia because people don't get their sunshine and don't get their zinc and don't get their D3 and don't get their vitamin C.
And don't get vitamin C because they don't go outside their house to get vitamin D from the sun.
It just never works.
I said vitamin C.
A coronavirus and everybody's got it in them. But Dr. Birx attributes coronavirus case spikes to reopening too fast. We know how to stop the spread. Really? Stop using fake tests? Worsening U.S. outbreak prompts tough actions as new coronavirus cases hit record. Not deaths, but new record. Los Angeles City coronavirus update. Mayor warns of possible new stay-at-home order. All options on the table. We didn't want to do it. He said 2 days ago, we're not sure. Well, it's on the table. We're doing it. Sorry. Fears coronavirus will spark brain damage epidemic as even mild cases cause inflammation. Well, that's what vaccines do, is cause inflammation. Oh, now you're telling us that viruses
use some turmeric.
Vaccines do it and they're a problem? Oh, but they don't tell you take Benadryl? They don't tell you take steroids from your doctor? That's how you handle it? That's why they've had 7 cases in places like Taiwan, because they know it's all fake and they know it's all false positive. But for the few people that actually die that do test positive, it's 7. And the doctors are saying, well, it's because they took this steroid. Well, yeah, because a lot of people are going to die from regular pneumonia, and a lot of that is an autoimmune response. So, of course, that's what you prescribe people to test that have pneumonia. If they
don't forget, it's hydrochloroquine and zinc. Zinc is the bullet, hydrochloroquine is the gun.
Somebody, and there's not a bunch of water in there 2/3 of the way up, then you know it's an autoimmune response.
Don't hear me.
That's why they're swollen. Just like when a bee stings you and you can't breathe, and you EpiPen, baby, EpiPen. But they won't tell you that because they want to get the death numbers up to keep everything shut down, roll out forced inoculations, and the total tracking of everything you do with these apps on the phones. It's all a stated plan, and they're systematically rolling it out, and any government official that goes along with it is an enemy of America.
We are the nation that gave rise to the Wright brothers, the Tuskegee Airmen, Harriet Tubman, Clara Barton, Jesse Owens, George Patton, General George Patton, the great Louis Armstrong,
who was murdered,
Alan Shepard, Elvis Presley, and Muhammad Ali. And
he's a faggot because he changed his name from Cassius Clay, which was a guy who set many slaves and fought hard for the slaves. What a coward you are, Muhammad Ali.
Laid down the highways, sculpted the skyline of Manhattan.
Oh yeah, happy White History Month too. It's White History Month this month. Enjoy.
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, we need to put Trump on that mountain.
Americans harnessed electricity, split the atom, and gave the world the telephone.
Yeah, there were some Germans involved in that too, so
We sent
Operation Paperclip, look that up.
Won 2 world wars.
All wars are bankers' wars.
On the moon. And one day, very soon, we will plant our flag on Mars. We gave the world the poetry of Walt Whitman, the stories of Mark Twain, the songs of Irving Berlin, the voice of Ella Fitzgerald, the style of Frank Sinatra, the comedy of Bob Hope, the power of the Saturn V rocket, the toughness of the Ford F-150, and the awesome might of the American aircraft carriers. Americans must never lose sight of this miraculous story.
4th of July 2020 special has gone into high gear. We have 50% off Body's really strong extract of turmeric formula. It's been sold out for months. That's back in stock. DNA Force Plus with the PQQ, the CoQ10. So good for your cells. So amazing. That's back in stock, 50% off. Winter Sun's been sold out for over 3 months. It's back in stock. Pure, high-quality vitamin D3, taken under the tongue, greater absorption. So good for your whole body. So essential. That's back in stock. Ultra 12, super high-quality B12, again, taken under the tongue. That is back in stock. Survival Silt X2, nascent iodine spray, 33% off, and so much more. So I want to thank you all this July 4th coming up for standing with us. And I want to invite you to take advantage of these great deals and great products that enrich yourself and your family's life, and also fund hardcore truth. Again, take action. Big 4th of July sales right now at InfoWarsStore.com. We could not have done this without you. I thank you for your continued prayer, your focus, and your support. Again, I salute you all. I don't want to interrupt, then I'm leaving. You've been doing great, Owen. You're going to finish up with these calls, but then Greg Reese and, of course, Harrison Smith are going to take another hour of calls. The crew's volunteered to do it. So we're here live covering this, hoping everything de-escalates. So the live coverage continues.
Damn, so BLM assaulted Savannah? Or is that somebody else?
No BS. Let me tell you, everything's straight shooting here. See, I don't have some Machiavelli manipulative view. With me, it's all straightforward attack. That's the real power.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones.
You know TikTok's owned by the Chinese, right?
Waging war on corruption, it's Alex Jones.
If you just tuned in and you hear me telling you that...
Yeah, Muhammad owned more slaves than fucking George Washington. I'll tell you that right now. Just read the fucking Quran.
Where mad scientists, mad doctors, mad nurses get away with killing people, get away with killing preemie babies, get away with euthanizing old people. You're just not informed. We all know the Nazis got their go-ahead and their impetus from mad scientists in England and the United States with eugenics. And Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood. That's in the Nuremberg trials. We also know that the head scientist for the Nazis who ran the final solution was Dr. Joseph Mengele. We know in the Soviet Russia, medical tyranny was one of their key suppression systems. So we think of doctors as just perfect angels. And under Hippocrates for thousands of years and the Hippocratic Oath, the West, we said, do no harm. But when you're around death and disease, you get very callous. And a lot of people get into it because they already think of themselves as elitist, and they get recruited by the eugenics organizations. So when you get Bayer pharmaceutical documents that I've talked about a lot, we're back during the 80s when the Clintons were governors of, co-governor, I call them, but when Bill Clinton was governor of Arkansas, from the 80s into the early 90s, it came out in France, Australia, and the U.S. in court that they knowingly allowed the inmates to give blood way over the level they were allowed to. It didn't test for HIV or hepatitis, and let people with it give the blood to then ship it up to Canada and have it shipped out to the world to be put in hemophiliac medication, factor VIII, the clotting agent. And almost everyone that got it ended up contracting hepatitis and or HIV and dying. And of course, it came out in those famous Bayer pharmaceutical documents where the regional directors are saying, well, so what? There's too many hemophiliacs. They put that in the minutes of their meetings with a stenographer in the room at board meetings. Imagine you're at board meetings and you're just sitting around, well, we shipped out over 2 million dosages of factor VIII, it's gonna hit the hemophiliacs and gonna kill most of them with hepatitis and HIV, and they, so what?
And just imagining no one doing something about it ever.
Remember
how profound.
They all had PhDs in there. They were all calmly talking about how they're going to shut the economy.
These demons all protect each other, and we don't do, good men don't do shit about it.
5 million people, put 50 million in re-education camps. They were dead serious talking about it, very calming, like you talk about going down to the store and getting a gallon of milk. You better, I better, we all better start realizing the enemy we're up against. They're cold-blooded, they're psychotic, they're sociopathic, They enjoy the power over you and your family. And complying with them and groveling to them and going along with them will get you destroyed. The whole Rockefeller New World Order system is about a medical tyranny. The whole UN takeover plan is about a worldwide medical tyranny. They're coming with forced inoculations they admit are going to hurt you. And the big corporations and the blue states and the airlines aren't going to let you travel or live unless you comply. And that's going to be phase one. Now, I want to get into all the fraud of COVID-19 and a plan they have to set Trump up when we come back from break. But I want to air part of this special report. It's at band.video. It's at newswars.com. And this doctor, who, by the way, I didn't just believe him. I went and looked into who he was and headed up Rick Perry's task force for 7 years. First was on the task force, then headed it up for medical activity in Texas. But I didn't just believe him when I saw this viral video that just came out a couple days ago. I already knew that inflammation drugs like budesonide are having basically 100% success rate. A steroid goes into the lungs and the body stops having the autoimmune response. But sure enough, since this got millions of views and went viral in the last day, now they have mainstream media coming out. COVID patients defend Dr. Bartlett's silver bullet medicine regime. But then they still go on to have, well, the NIH says only the UN is the boss and only what they say is approved. Midland Memorial Hospital says inhaled steroid is no silver bullet for COVID-19. They say there's not the UN saying it's certified, so that's not scientific. Well, what about it actually working? Like, do I need a science degree to know the leg's chopped off and if I tie a tourniquet around it, it'll slow the blood flow? Do I need to know, without the UN saying so, that brushing my teeth is good? Or that eating my vegetables is good? They play this game. It's like a new Dark Ages. So here he is on the TV show, the full video. We've archived at band.video because I'm telling you it's going to get pulled down. Right now it's still posted at America Can We Talk. Dr. Richard Bartlett, here it is.
So I mentioned at the start of the show, we have a guest joining us. This is kind of a funny thing. I'll just tell you a true story. So last night there was a political event. I moderated a panel that was speaking at a political event. And afterward, I met someone who had attended the event, is a doctor here in Texas, and not in Dallas, but in Midland, Texas. And he has been working also dealing with COVID-19 patients, coronavirus patients. The article is up again on our website, americacanwetalk.org. An article about him is called "Local Doctor Believes He Has Found Silver Bullet for COVID-19." We had a great conversation after the meeting last night. And on the spot, I said, why don't you come into my show tomorrow? And gratefully, he was available. So here we have joining us in studio, our new friend, Dr. Richard Bartlett. Hello, sir.
Debbie, I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
I'm grateful you could be here, and I would love to just have you dive right in. Since I don't really know you, have you start with telling our listeners about your medical background.
Well, I've been practicing in Texas for 28 years. When Governor Perry started a new task force called the Health Disparities Task Force, he asked me to be on that task force. And the purpose was to give him advice so that all Texans can have access to quality health care. And that was a 2-year appointment. After 2 years, he asked me, would you stay on one more year? And so that happened year after year for a total of 7 years. And a lot of good things happened. But I also have been the medical expert for CBS affiliate in West Texas for over 20 years. And I do a regular weekly update on COVID on the Talk 550 AM talk radio in West Texas. And we've been doing that since the beginning of this drama.
Wow, okay.
And so I'm also an author and do medical missions in other countries. And so I've seen a lot of disaster all over the world. But I want to echo everything that you said in your first 5 minutes. I agree 100%. We already have an answer for this. And to put things in perspective, let's look around the world. You know, in the country of Taiwan, there's over 25 million people. They're stacked on top of each other. If they did social distancing, they'd be out in the ocean floating around.
Yeah.
There's not enough room for them to do social distancing. But guess how many people have died to date during the whole pandemic in Taiwan? 7. As many people as you can stack in a minivan going down Central Expressway. And so the next time your viewers see a minivan, think, Oh, that's how many people have died in a country of 24 million people. Now I'm going to tell you, yes, and I'm going to tell you why that's the situation. It's the situation also in Japan, 121 million people in Japan. They've had less than 1,000 people die during the whole pandemic. Singapore, only 12 people have died in the whole country during the whole pandemic. Iceland, well, that's not possible according to what we're being told in the mainstream media, but that's reality. Anyone can look it up. You can even look at the Johns Hopkins COVID website and you'll see those numbers. They're hidden in there, but I'm pointing them out because the people
now that's key. We're going to come back next segment and play more where he gets into the one particular drug. But
also, don't forget to point out that the NDAA legalized propaganda on the American people. So let that sink in from every piece of news you hear from all this mainstream media bullshit.
Again, it's in all the literature that many pneumonias kill you not from the virus replicating and actually destroying the tissue, but your body has an autoimmune response. Those are the ones you die of sometimes in 24, 48 hours. The lungs just expand with inflammation and you die. It's not just the fluid. They just completely expand and shut down. And it's just mainline thousands of studies that when somebody's dying, before they even put a ventilator on you, they will give you an anti-inflammatory. But they don't want that discussed because...
Why does nobody fucking talk about this shit?
They want the panic. They want the fear.
I have no idea.
Tracking. They want the control to make you stay in your house, the forced inoculations, and the trillions they're going to make on the vaccines and expensive drugs that Fauci and Bill Gates openly are invested in with criminal conflict of interest in your face. We'll be right back to expose these murdering criminals. Stay with us. The 4th of July. Hollywood, the Democratic Party, the unelected EU bureaucracy, and the Fortune 100 corporations are almost unanimously rooting against America, against the American people, and against our president, Donald Trump. They're all over the news saying the American century's over and that America's quarantined and that COVID-19 was our fault and that the United States may not even exist.
Yeah, already made $4 on each ounce of silver I bought. Sweet.
We have to be politically more engaged than we've ever been before to stop this New World Order takeover. But we also have to understand that we have to reach out to God and pray and ask for God's intervention. And we also have to be physically prepared for what's happening. If you don't have a firearm and don't know how to use it, don't have ammo, you really should get some. And you really should get high-quality storable foods and water.
Yeah, it's going to be like a 6-week wait at the fucking gun store, from what I've heard from my friends. So you better get it now.
I would suggest now you get storable food today.
As for me, I rock the 6-hour 9mm, 17-round clip. 17 in the clip and 1 in the hole. When these BLM assholes gonna get some fucking holes.
That their entire...
If they fucking attack me or any of my family...
Dumbing us down and making it to where we are not self-sufficient. During the Great Depression in the 1920s, it's estimated by major universities that around 7
better not come to the suburbs, son.
Malnutrition or died from diseases because their immune systems were run down. Now, back then we were 90% rural and almost everybody was self-sufficient. Now,
time to start growing some vegetables in your garden too, and if you ain't got one, get it cracking.
It's estimated that less than half of those are actually self-sufficient. We are sitting on top of a time bomb. We have been domesticated. I know how to skin a buck and run a trot line, but I don't know 1/100th of what my grandfather knew. I don't know 1/100th
Neither do I.
what my dad knew. And quite frankly, I've dropped the ball. My children are city slickers. They know how to shoot a gun, change a tire. That's about it. We need to get back to the land, back to self-sufficiency, and back to being prepared. And the way to start, ladies and gentlemen, is having friends and family with a bug-out plan if there is a total collapse, and water filtration, and food to last you at least a few months. And the food we have is very high quality. It's in great containers that are great to be mobile. They have wide selection, special diets, you name it. It's the best price you're gonna find for quality food like this. And most importantly, all the other big companies have become fly-by-night. They only keep a little bit of food on hand, and it's low quality, it's overpriced, if they even have it. And they'll lie to you and say, oh, we ship in 2 weeks. They're not. They're still shipping in 6 to 8 weeks if you can find it. But our sponsor that we've been partnered with for 11 years, My Patriot, has the food, has 4 plants in the United States, several sub-plants, and a lot of their food shipped out within 2 weeks, but on average, it's about 4. But you need to get the orders in now in the lull before the storm. I told you lockdown 2 was coming. I told you they're gonna have new versions of the virus. The New World Order is making its move. Whether Trump loses or wins, things are just gonna get more crazy, and this food lasts 25 years inside the containers. So it's something you can hide, something you can bury, something you know is an ace in the hole for you and your family in the future. And the little bit of profit that comes in funds the InfoWar to continue to warn the people. So you're also funding InfoWars, the most powerful Paul Revere organization in the world, because it's powered by you. Get ready, get prepared, spread the word. Whatever you do, pray to God and get yourself right with God, because this is the real deal, and things will only get crazier from here on out. Good luck and God bless. I drove all the way to my house, to my office, and I did not see one car. Like an apocalypse. It's about a 60% chance we go into total collapse. And I mean power going off sometimes. I mean baby starving to death. I mean you ain't getting your medicine. I mean it's done. Every actuary and government study from South Africa to the United States to Germany to Russia to Japan to South America shows that in about 7 days, almost everyone commits murder for food. Within 14 days, almost everyone resorts to cannibalism or commits suicide. I'll admit it. I will eat my neighbors. I'm just going to be honest. I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I'm ready to hang them up and gut them and skin them and chop them up. And you know what? I'm ready. I'll eat my neighbors. I'll eat your ass. I will. And I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbor. You think I like sizing up my neighbor, how I'm going to haul him up by a chain and chop his ass up? I'll do it. Boom. You understand that? You understand me? I will eat your ass. We're going to dig you out of those bunkers. We're going to dig you out of those holes. Let me tell you something right now. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to get my hands around your throat. I'll barbecue your ass. I will eat you. I'll drink your blood. You understand that? I will hang your ass up. I'm ready. You want to worship Satan? Well, guess what? You're about to meet something worse, you dumb sacks of crap. But just for the courts and everything, I'm joking around here.
No, these guys are good. Infamous Animation. They do some funny stuff. Check them out.
On her back in her house in the bed, can't get out of bed, fever won't break for 5 days. She says, I heard you on the radio, and would you please help me? It's on a Friday. She says, my granddaughter tested positive today, and I think I have it. And I said, I'm sure you do with all the symptoms you're describing. She is currently fighting 2 forms of lymphoma. She's on chemotherapy right now. She just had radiation a month before for the lymphoma. She should die, according to what you hear from the CDC and World Health Organization.
What that woman needs is some intravenous vitamin C or liposomal vitamin C. Look that up. It does cure cancer. A lot of forms of cancer.
She works an 8-hour day.
But they can't make money off of it.
She still is fighting cancer, 2 forms of cancer, but she's cured of COVID. She's symptom-free. She has her 2 consecutive negative tests. That's a cure.
Okay, can you say the name of the drug again?
Budesonide.
Budesonide. And so is it done in an inhaler?
It's an inhaler, and so it does actually come as an inhaler, but I'm using it in a nebulizer machine. You know, you see preschool kids use this. It's safe. It is so safe. It's been out for over 20 years. It's been used on 2-pound premature babies safely without batting an eye, and the fragile elderly in nursing homes for over 20 years. There's no reservations with it.
Follow the money. Why aren't they using it?
Like the accusation of hydroxychloroquine is a risk of heart trouble, although that's ridiculous to make that accusation. This one doesn't even have that risk. And so I give that and an antibiotic to protect from secondary bacterial pneumonia. But let's talk about what COVID is. It's a respiratory virus that goes into the lungs, binds to ACE receptors in the lungs, and that triggers the release of inflammatory chemicals, and we call it a cytokine storm. That's a fancy word for inflammatory chemicals and enzymes that are released in total body. And so with COVID, we have a killer that's never been around before. It is killing some people if they're not treated. And so
people with shitty immune systems,
they get it and they don't even know they had it. 50% of the people don't even know. But for the 20% that are at risk, there are treatments. We already have an answer. Let me tell you, you're right. Taiwan, 24 million people, they don't need to wait for a vaccine. They don't have a problem that you should vaccinate 24 million people for. They only had 7 die during the whole pandemic. We have some treatment plans and options that are already valid and working.
Okay, this is truly, it is great news. As you said before we went on break.
Yeah, but there's no money to be made in it, so no one's gonna fucking do anything.
Roughly speaking, how many patients do you think you've treated?
Look at the cost of that drug. Look at the profit margins. Follow the money. Who invested in that drug? What company owns that drug?
I haven't even tallied the numbers, but every one of them's living, not dying. I'll give you another example. An elderly lady who has a 50-year history of smoking, and she had her chest cracked and had 4-vessel bypass surgery. She's on medicine for high blood pressure and thyroid disease. She calls me after 5 days of fever and shortness of breath and chest pain. She feels like she can barely get across the room. I start her on the treatment. With the first treatment, she tells me again something I've never...
Sweet, my Twitch stream is back up. Awesome.
She says, I feel better during the first treatment. And she's cured with 2 double negatives after the fact. She's so grateful. But with this medicine that's been out for over 20 years, there's lots of research on it. It's safe. Big Pharma's not going to make a dime off it. Nobody's going to make any money. It's $200 for the total treatment versus the experimental antiviral that you have to be put in the hospital and then be a part of an experiment to get that costs over $3,100 just for the medicine.
Let's stop right there. That's Remdesivir that Fauci owns part of. And he did a fake study. Fauci's study's been proven to be a fraud, that it helped people 8% more. But other studies show it kills you. That's why they don't want hydroxychloroquine, because it works really good. But the studies with this, it's basically 100% with budesonide. 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 Now, the full video is at band.video. It's the featured video. It's a mega red alert. I shot the video last night with the intro to it. Only has 114,000 views. Okay, it needs 10 million views. And I guarantee you it's on YouTube right now with 1 million views, been up for 2 days. They will pull it. They've already got the Texas media attacking him. They went and found his patients. And one headline is, doctor claims to have cured it after only treating 5 patients successfully. He said, I just treated 5 the other day in 1 day. Every day since March. I can't tell you how many we've helped. They turned that into, he only helped 5 people. They're our enemies. They're owned by Big Pharma. They're owned by the big mega banks. They're all lockstep. That's the Rockefeller plan, called lockstep, together to force evil upon us and our families. And to not let us know about zinc, or about vitamin C, or about vitamin D3, or vitamin K, that you've got to have it or your cells fall to any virus. A regular coronavirus will kill you deader than a hammer. If you don't have vitamin D3 and zinc, you die. That's why they're called essential. Essential. The NIH website says. Under vitamin D3, under zinc, they're antiviral. You must have them for cellular operation. If you do not have them at a certain level, you will go deficient and you will end up dying from a viral infection. It says it on the NIH website. And I literally have friends and family, and I know lawyers, and I know insurance salespeople that go, Jones, are you claiming really vitamins will protect me? Yeah, dumbasses. Just like drinking water will protect me.
Most disease is caused by not eating the right food or having the right nutrients in your body. Look it up. It's not fucking rocket science.
And I'm not exaggerating. There was almost no one on the road, but idiots driving in the fast lane below the speed limit are at it because they think the left lane's an open lane. There were old people, there were black people, there were brown people, there were women. It was all colors.
Oh, Lord, women driving in the fast lane? Shut it down.
My God, what is wrong with people? They're superstitious of knowledge. They're superstitious of being informed. They think I'm weird because I study stuff and know things, and I've trained my mind to want information.
Hey, if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it.
What I'm saying is true. And the criminal media, there's hundreds of articles attacking him and lying about him because they've been ordered to keep people scared, to keep the lockdown going forever. Over my dead body, Gates. I'm not
over my dead fucking body.
With your mark of the beast, your digital tracking. I'm just telling listeners. Tell folks about this live show. Tell them about the video. It's on InfoWars, it's on News Wars, and share.
We're getting it cracking, son.
Override these murdering maggots. Because that lady gone to the wrong doctor, he'd have shoved an intubator down her throat. He'd have killed that old woman, just like you'd run over a squirrel and I'd give a damn. In fact, they're the types that run into a squirrel on purpose.
That's because most doctors don't honor the Hippocratic oath they took.
Start acting like you should with murdering criminals censoring you. You're not going to murder us anymore, Gates. You're going to get it, you murdering maggot killer.
Orwell canceled? Journalist says vile author aided Nazis. Quote, Orwell was a total fraud. Article by Paul Joseph Watson. Despite being dead for 70 years, George Orwell may become the latest public figure to be canceled after a left-wing journalist called him a vile man who aided the Nazis with his strident criticism of Stalinist Russia. Yes, really.
In addition,
what the fuck? Stalin killed more people than fucking Hitler, you stupid ass.
World War II demonizing the USSR as it defeated Nazism.
Tweeted Ben Norman.
Look at the weak beta male body and the dead eyes. Dead giveaway.
Shoved Jews into gas chambers. Orwell was writing Animal Farm. Vile man.
He added. Norton followed up by denouncing the 1984 author as, quote, reactionary who hated communists more than fascists, before claiming Orwell, quote, didn't actually believe.
Let's not get it twisted. Orwell was on the inside of the globalists, and he wrote a book of fiction which had a lot of fact in it to warn people so he wouldn't get murdered earlier than he did. Look that up.
In free speech, he wanted to take away the free speech of communists. Orwell was a total fraud. Respondents pointed out that criticizing Stalinism, which killed multiple times more people than Nazism, doesn't make one a fascist enabler. Norman was also accused of historical inaccuracies. To be fair to Norman, he does appear to be a supporter of free speech and an opponent of deplatforming. However, this once again underscores how cancel culture is not merely just pushback on opinions considered to be offensive, but just as we have seen with attempts to topple statues of Winston Churchill, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson, the woke mob is so intent on rewriting history and imposing a cultural revolution, not even some of the most seminal names in history are safe. I'm Millie Weaver reporting.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. You're listening to Alex Jones.
Is $200 for the total treatment versus the experimental antiviral that you have to be put in the hospital and then be a part of an experiment to get that costs over $3,100 just for the medicine? And then you pay for $15,000 at least to be in the hospital during that time,
Sure.
Unless you go to the ICU, and then you'll get $30,000 or $40,000 bill on top of being sick.
So this is a medication you prescribed before COVID ever came along for
Yes.
other patients for asthma?
For asthma prevention. You know, there's 25 million people in America that have asthma, and so this medicine is used routinely for over 20 years to prevent asthma attacks. It's the first line preventive measure to protect people from having an asthma attack is an inhaled steroid. And so that's what they're doing in Japan. That's what they're doing in Taiwan. That's what they're doing in Singapore.
So even healthy people over there.
Yes, with COVID, they're treating with inhaled steroids if they get COVID. So, you know, for the 50% of the people who are going to get it and never have symptoms, they don't need medicine. They certainly don't need a vaccine. But for the 20% that are at risk of death if they don't get treated, we have an answer. And here's what we need to do: early treatment, early testing, early treatment. We need to detect it early. For every disease, Debbie, America has the best healthcare system. And we do early detection and early treatment for cancer, for heart disease, for stroke, for all kinds of infections. But this is crazy that we're doing what communist China is doing, and we're parroting that through the World Health Organization. Yep. And then the World Health Organization is praising what China did. And so Italy follows suit. And look what Italy, over 30,000 people died in Italy so far versus 7 in a country that people are stacked on top of each other, 24 million.
And what Dr. Richard Bartlett is saying is all completely correct, except he's being such a nice guy. He's like, let's get early testing. But then those are false positives, so that drives up the fear. And then doctors that aren't informed like him or who are evil, with these evil, big conglomerates that get $52,000 for every person they end up saying has COVID and putting a tube down their throat, they will grab them and intubate them. And then you're going to get a death. So that's the one problem, because I guarantee you, this guy's a goody two-shoe, guarantees an Eagle Scout, guaranteed you can totally trust this doctor. He just comes off good, decent, nice guy like my dad who's a doctor or any of these nice doctors. And so we then all think all the other healthcare providers are like Dr. Richard Bartlett. No. They're like Governor Northam. A lot of them are like Governor Northam. And so you notice Governor Northam's up there saying hydroxychloroquine's bad, there's no hope, only the vaccine, because they know their job with the big cartels. Really powerful coming up next segment. We got Roger Stone, bottom of the hour, and I've got all this COVID-19 news I haven't hit. They're doing door-to-door lockdowns of public housings where they'll always start with dependent people, and they're starting forced COVID testing. So see, then that's all UN recommended. That's all UN run. That's what the UN called for, is taking your kids away if you test positive, but they don't. You're totally healthy, but we're going to take your kid away. This is just getting you used to contact tracers coming to your house, taking you away. That is coming up as well. Yes, you just heard me. This is breaking ABC news out of Australia. Absolutely insane, but they put it out like it's a good thing. And then separately, I didn't plug last hour. I really need to. We have store-wide free shipping. Double Patriot points, but 60% off on our best sellers. The sale has to end this weekend because a lot of these things are going to sell out because we got limited amounts of them because the supply chain's breaking down. That's what's scary. We'll be like, we want 10,000 bottles of bodies. Sorry, of the high-quality turmeric you're getting and the supply chain, we've only got enough for 3,000 bottles. And I'm like, well, that'll sell out in a few months and we won't have it. I mean, that's why so many things you like to buy are gone, because we just can't get them at the quality that we get them from the sources we get it. I mean, this is crazy. So if you want your Ultra 12, your bodies, you want your Winter Sun, you want your DNA Force, your Bazo Beach, your Vitamin Mineral Fusion, at 50 to 60% off, store-wide free shipping, double Patriot points. Now's the time to get these and support the InfoWar. But things are breaking down, folks. The global depression is here. Brought to you by the COVID hoax. Listeners.
What are champions made of? Here's a man who can show you.
888-253-3139, 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139 is the InfoWars Store hotline. 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139 is the InfoWars Store hotline. 888-253-3139 is the InfoWars Store hotline. 888-253-3139 is the InfoWars Store.
Frank!
888-253-3139 is the InfoWars Store hotline. 888-253-3139 is the InfoWars Store. InfoWarsStore.com is simply the best. InfoWarsStore.com beats out all the rest. 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139 is the InfoWars Store hotline. 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. That's InfoWarsStore.com.
gentlemen, I just got hit about 10 minutes ago, and I'm trying to process it right now. We'll cover it next segment. We're getting the video right now from ABC News. That's the Australian broadcasting company, where they are doing house-to-house forced COVID testing. And just like the UN director said, if you test positive, but your kids don't, we're going to take your kids from you. In fact, grab that clip too if you guys can. A UN official says we'll take your children. And you hear all this 6 months ago, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 months ago. This is a rollout. And they said there will need to be more lockdowns. You'll need to have an ID and then a tracker system on your phone that allows you to travel. And you're going to need to take this vaccine and others, and more bad things are coming. So they're teaching you now that bad viruses are going to be here. You've got to be tested. You've got to be given all these shots. They suppress the real information about the virus. They blow its severity and its numbers. They lie about the system through the tests that show all the false positives. They send people that have pneumonias and flus into nursing homes in blue states and in Italy to get rid of the old people, and they admit this is about culling the earth. This is about lowering the carbon footprint. This is about getting rid of the Western civilization. And they're using it to then launch the riots worldwide at the same time to bring down the first world, bankrupt the third world, then have the UN control the migrant flows taking over the West. And the UN announced this again a week ago about replacement migration. They said due to the COVID hoax they created and the panic they created, the depression or the shutdown they created, we're going to have to open our borders to the refugees now. And the Democrats have put it in their platform to do just that. The 2020 Democrat platform. I have all those news articles. Dan Lyman of EuropeWars.com, who lives in Europe, works with InfoWars. He is here visiting while his wife visits family, while he visits family. And he is going to be in studio with us to chronicle replacement migration, now officially on the Democratic Party platform. Sacha Baron Cohen and the ADL say if you talk about it, you will.
What do you mean now? It's been on their fucking platform since Obama was in office.
But the ADL says you will be arrested. That's why you're now hearing if you criticize Black Lives Matter, you'll be arrested. This is a Soviet-style takeover. The communists using COVID-19 have now taken over Hong Kong. They're saying same thing. Criticize a list of things they list, you'll be arrested. It's not even as strong as what the left says here. So it's blue cities, blue states, the Democrats, big corporations, all ganged up on what's left of America and the president and the people and the family. So it's all coming up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just speechless right now. It's just unbelievable. But we also have to have a little fun in the information war, don't we? And reach out to people that aren't as awake. And the way to do that is with entertainment. And one of the most memed things is Lord of the Rings. Well, Rob Dew has spent a little too much time on this, but it is good. I hope it goes viral. New Joe Biden campaign ad shocks the world. CNN will probably say, Jones said it was real, but it wasn't. Yeah, so's the Easter Bunny. On its face, it's a joke. Share this video to fight back against internet censorship and stop the enemies of the world.
On Joe's face, it's a joke. Quit sniffing little girls and shit, you fucking creepoid.
Message ever. You can get it at man.video. You can find it at Infowars.com or Newswars.com. Please tweet it, Facebook it, email it out, text message it out to everybody and say, check out Joe Biden's new campaign commercial that's shocking the world. Ha ha. But nevertheless, here it is. It just gets better and better throughout the piece. It's not really for radio, so I'll narrate some. Here it is.
The power of Isengard is at your command.
Warrior, build me an army worthy of Mordor.
What orders from Mordor, my lord? What does the Eye command?
We have work to do.
These guys are good.
Lord, the roots go deep.
Rip them all down.
So they tear down all the statues. The roots of America.
And we ain't doing a goddamn thing about it. We should just take it in the ass now and fucking kill ourselves. Because apparently we're a bunch of fucking cowards.
is changing. Who now has the strength to stand against the armies of Isengard and Mordor? Stand against the might of Sauron and Saruman. Together, my lord Sauron, we shall rule this Middle-earth. The old world will burn in the fires of industry. The forests will fall. A new order will rise, seen of war with the sword and the spear and the iron fist of the orc. I want them armed and ready to march within 2
And this is what happened when good men do nothing.
They cannot all be armed in time. We don't have the means.
Build a dam, block the stream, work the furnaces like day.
We don't have enough fuel to feed the fires.
The forest of Fangorn lies on our doorstep. Burn it.
Pretty sure that's a fucking felony too.
Bring a whole new communist world into being that can actually ensure the
Over my dead fucking body.
We must begin the work of dismantling the whole system of oppression wherever we find it.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve.
Says Ilhan Omar, the brother fucker.
And it ends with them burning American flags all over the United States. The media is saying it's good. New Joe Biden campaign ad shocks the world. Just went live at man.video. I hope that you share it with everyone you know. Now, this is going to get really serious. You've heard a bunch of UN high-level officials, and now you've heard it in the U.S., and you've seen Democrats say this.
Which makes me wonder, if all this shit's going down, all these lies on TV are going down, why is Trump not fucking rescinding this shit?
See, that's
what the fuck?
And the Clinton initiative runs it. And
So they can just still keep brainwashing these fucking people with no fucking repercussions or anything.
And they're now going to come to your house and look, we're just here to test you. We've got your name, we've got your info. And and then the image of, you know, taking the people away to quarantine that have it, those that don't, and all of it's false positive garbage, all of it's lies. And then once they've got you in a facility, they're gonna be like, you've got COVID. They strap you down and just, we're liberal.
And that's where you become the guinea pig, like the American soldiers getting injected with all kinds of shit that hadn't even been tested. Anthrax vaccine, anyone?
Or they'll say you haven't been eating properly, so they pump food into your stomach till it explodes. And they're going to be good little liberals. And most of them aren't even really evil. They're such cult members. They're like, there's a lot of bad people that are insane and don't trust us. And that's why they say, be tough, wear your mask. Come on, it's no big deal, because that shows everyone bowing down. That shows everyone submitting. So now you'll submit to the forced testing, the forced lockdowns, the forced arrest, your children being taken. It's all coming. And you did such a good job. You already put up with 70,000 old people in the nursing homes locked down and killed, and their families unable to go see them. You already did a good job. So now you're going to die. They're coming. They're going to kill you. And the governor of Texas is going to help them. I'm a human. I'm a pioneer. I'm an explorer. And I'm coming. They got stuff that'll whack your brain permanently. There it is, the gay ball. Gay ball. And the freaking frog's gay. What do you think tap water is? It's a game bomb, baby. What is going on in North Korea? What is Hitler? What is Stalin? What is Mao? What is all this stuff? Everybody's into like creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. I'm in control now. You will die. Do you understand that? Get it through your heads. I will go to hell. Will go to hell. Will go to hell. I will go to hell. Will go to hell. Will go to hell. Get away from me, racist! We need to get back to the land, back to self-sufficiency, and back to being prepared. And the way
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Near the entrance. Has a shotgun. White male, 30s, long hair.
Mama don't like tattletales.
Wearing sunglasses.
Without pure, clean drinking water. So make sure that it's always available to you with the Alexa Pure water filtration system. This gravity-fed system filters through all the toxins and gets straight to clean, healthy, great-tasting water. Yummy in my tummy. Bring the purest, most refreshing water to your...
Yeah, the filter's legit, but I just made my own container and bought the filters, because I ain't got $200.
Store.com.
Other systems. But I do buy the nutraceuticals. The Brain Force is legit. The X2 is legit. B12, Super Male Vitality.
The battle for the Republic is on. The American Revolution 2.0 is happening right now. But the corrupt establishment doesn't want you to know, and they certainly don't want you to get involved. But you can at ban.video. The truth lives at ban.video. The information they don't want you to see is at ban.video. This is your destiny. This is the epic battle for the future of humanity. America will survive as long as you fight. I've got to go.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones.
I would stand in line for this. There's always room in life for this.
Welcome back. Cold virus, and that
always trying to stop me. It ain't gonna work, bitch.
You can become a suspect, and then as you're quote reinfected with new colds, they will always say you still have COVID and have to take all these forced inoculations, have apps that track you, all of it directed by the United Nations. Now, the UN director of the World Health Organization emergency programs, that means their takeover, their offensive general, the guy that leads the landing parties, Dr. Michael Ryan said.
All right, check out the cold underneath the microscope. Look at it. Look at it real fucking good. Get you a good look at it. And the influenza, look at it. They're all coronaviruses. Does that make any sense? Now look at the coronavirus picture under a microscope. There's your answer.
Months ago, but they've all been saying it. But after he said it, suddenly mayors and governors in blue cities, blue states began parroting it like mockingbirds. Go in your houses and forcibly test you, and then whoever's
come into my house, bitch, and see what happens. You're gonna have a warrant and kick my door in.
They don't care. You get taken.
And you better announce yourself.
And it just gets you used to a van shows up. There's bureaucrats. They're with the Clinton Global Initiative. On record runs it. They're paid money. The Clintons make billions. And if you don't do what they say, they get on the phone and here come the police. And then when they arrest you or kill you, oh, the cops did a good job. You know, when a black cop beats up a black guy or kills a black guy who didn't wear a mask, that's okay. Or you're a white guy, whatever. There's no police brutality when it's that, when you don't want to be whisked away. So he was talking about this months ago. Now Australia is actually doing it. All of this is a formula. Whatever the UN says is a rollout. They had to get you.
You want to hear what's even more fucked up? The Supreme Court ruled that the police have no duty to protect the general public. Now let that sink in. So if they don't protect and serve, what the hell do they do? I'll wait. Look that up.
They lock it down and they say, you can come out once we come in door to door in the next week. They've told them you're locked in for weeks. Once we get you cleared and tested, those that aren't clear are going to be taken away. Those that aren't clear, you can stay for now. And the media's like, oh, well, the people want more. And the article's like, we want
you didn't test positive, but we're going to have to give you this vaccine so that you don't test positive before we leave.
It's all psychologically war-gamed, and these victims just like run into the pits. Like when the Nazis would shoot a group of people and then order the next group to run into the pit. They go, yes, sir, let me do that. Well, I'm not doing it. And the good news is sheriff's departments, the police departments are waking up. A lot of states are waking up.
At least the good ones are. There's a lot of bad cops out there. Just ask Serpico.
The Emperor of Texas, Governor.
Fucking meat eaters and grass eaters.
He's fallen to Mordor. He's knelt to Satan. But
there's evil on both sides. That's what you have to understand. There's no such thing as racism, but evil does exist.
Plan with China. Here he is telling you, we're coming to take your kids. Here it is.
And at the moment, in most parts of the world, due to lockdown, most of the transmission that's actually happening in many countries now is happening in the household, at family level. In some senses, transmission...
Because you fucking cocksuckers are locking people down. What the fuck do you expect? You've locked down sick people, not fucking healthy people. Are you even a fucking doctor? Yes, you are. You're a fucking disgrace.
Remove them and isolate them in a safe and dignified manner.
And they went on to say, particularly children, a safe and dignified manner.
That sounds fucking Chimo-like.
Always get the family. Always get rid of the nuclear family. Official UN policy. That family. That
yep, look at BLM. They say that they are for the destruction of the patriarchy, which is the family. Look that up.
Let's go ahead now and go to Australia.
Antifa stands for anti-family, not anti-fascist.
20 and 30-story towers.
I made that shit up.
Roll it out like it's, oh, we just woke up and we're locked down until the testing. Here it is.
We're in complete lockdown, as in we can't go out for exercise, can't go.
What you have to understand is if you ask any real fucking doctor, when someone's sick, you quarantine them, right? So why are they quarantining sick people with healthy people, or even quarantining healthy people? That makes no fucking sense at all.
Go out for work, we can't go get groceries, and
I think this is Ilhan Omar, the brother fucker. I don't know why she's not in prison.
Outside, not for a second. I opened my door just to look at some of the food that was dropped to me. You can see this is the food that has been came around 2 a.m. last night. No one expected.
Who the fuck eats at 2 a.m.?
You know, especially in Australia, we didn't expect that. But, you know, obviously there's members of the community who couldn't understand that. Why is it happening to us? You know, are we different? Do we happen to be a different class of people? But at the same time, you know, I really completely understand because, you know, this, if you look at if you see the conditions where we live in, the size of these buildings, the communal corridors and lifts that we
Yeah, keep on bootlicking, buddy, and see what's gonna happen.
you know, how easily
lick them fucking boots, son.
So this is my house, this is my living room. If you look down, basically I'm high up, so
holy shit, he lives in a fucking shoebox. That's terrible. I could never live like that.
towers. This is
thank God I live in America.
Yeah, a lot of members of our community are scared of a backlash. We're scared of racial profiling. We're scared of that backlash because of right now it actually looks like, you know, we're the only people in Australia who are poor. We basically are not hearing.
You're the only people that are poor. That's a lie.
About anybody else, and that's not and that's far-fetched from the truth.
Please believe it's class warfare.
So you're gonna roll lockdowns. Oh, it's the towers they built, just like Bloomberg.
To put people in trapped like rats.
A guy who lives in a coffin apartment.
Like they're in prison.
300 square feet, literally.
So they get fucking, what do they call it when you go to prison and you get institutionalized? That's it. They want you to be institutionalized by your own government.
That are even
and you will submit to it.
I talked about this yesterday. I said to herd you in. So, of course,
power is the science of control. No, fear is the science of control. Yes.
The whole city. Oh, don't worry, we won't be racist. But see, first it's the brown people we shipped in to control and put in the prison. And now once we got it beta tested on them, now we're going to do it to everybody. Everyone will be locked down, sector by sector, and forcibly tested until they submit. And it's all UN run, and it's all coming to you because there's nothing you won't put up with. Oh, just put the mask on. And the next, oh, just take the tracker app. Oh, just let the Global Clinton Initiative into your house to check. Oh, just take the inoculation. Oh, just let us.
Shit. If you check the user license agreement on your phone and the options under settings, both Android and Apple have already installed COVID-19 tracking apps, tracer apps on our phones. Look at it. I looked at it the other day on my phone. I have an Android phone, the Samsung.
That they admit is here to get rid of us. Now, the globalists themselves say they're following a off-world entity that's given them advanced knowledge, and they have to carry this out so that only they, the elites, give up their bodies, merge with machines. And they wrote books about it, you know, to condition the public, childhood's end and things back in the 50s. This is their plan. Now, whether they're really getting off-world interdimensional transmissions or not, I don't know. But they're building it, and you will see it happen. They're coming to kill you and your family. Get ready.
All won the lottery by being white.
I don't care if the United States is 80% brown in 30 years, as long as they're pro-gun, pro-family, want to go to the stars, want to have freedom, and don't want to be slaves. And we need to get past what color we are and adopt a system of idea.
This is probably going to be and I'm going to say this at this table, the most pro-black president that we've had in our lifetime.
Yeah, look at this shit. It doesn't mean an app has not been installed according to Forbes. Well, I know that you can install modules and you don't need a fucking app, dipshit.
Racist, bigotry.
So yeah, it's been installed and it's working in the background. Please fucking believe.
Ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place.
Then there it is. It's an API to help public health officials inform people who may have been exposed. Yeah, that's what they say they're doing, but what are they really doing? Look for what should be there, but it's not.
It's not a religion, it's not a language, it's simply an oppressive social category.
And I just started to think about all the privilege I benefited from in this industry specifically.
Which I don't hear me.
Bonus. I started to feel really gross about myself. So on a very fundamental level, I wanted to examine it further, and Netflix is great because they're just like, yeah, go.
No, Netflix is not great. It's fucking brainwashing kids and people. Look at these two fruitcakes. The girl that got pissed on in a fruitcake.
It's entitled How to Find a Nazi. White people.
I have white privilege.
Nazis are dead, you dumb little bitch.
I said it.
Yeah, there's your white privilege. Get punched in the fucking face by a bunch of damn idiots.
And this is what you see when you're seeing looting. You see a lot of these fucking young white kids that have...
Oh yeah, look at them. They're all white. Every single fucking one of them, son.
And they just run in to get free Nikes. And that's really what's going on.
Yeah. Joe the Toe Rogan, you are a real dipshit, bro. Your wife probably pegs you.
There can be no white race.
Listeners have been asking us for months to develop an iodine spray made with our exclusive Deep Earth Crystal Nascent Iodine. After extensive development, it's finally here. Introducing the first of its kind Nascent Iodine Spray made with true atomic iodine. Our proprietary new Aerodyne technology allows us to harness the full power of ancient iodine crystals from 7,000 feet below the Earth's surface.
Never hesitate, young buck. Yeah, that shit definitely would have exploded and crashed immediately. Say it. Say it.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones. Live from the Infowars.com studios, you're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Baby, I'm gonna teach you what love's all about tonight. Trust me, honey, everything's gonna be alright. Just do like I do, there ain't nothing to it. Listen to me, baby, and what I can do. All you gotta do is just let yourself go. Oh, baby, don't be afraid, just relax and take it real slow.
Cool it, baby.
Cool it, baby.
You ain't got no place to go.
Yeah!
Real tight.
Real tight. Enjoy yourself, baby. Don't fight it.
All you gotta do is let yourself go. All right, I'm not normally just gonna sing a song. We're waiting on Roger Stone, having perpetual Skype issues, but he's got big breaking news with us.
Yeah, I bet you are. Skype's a piece of shit. Let's see who owns it. Let's look that up real quick.
He's just 6 days out from his imprisonment for thought crime. Before we go any further, 4th of July super sale continues, but it is officially going to end.
Oh shit, fam, you won't believe this shit.
Because a lot of these items that have been sold out.
Microsoft buys Skype. Huh. Okay, yeah. See, it pays to look shit up. Wired.com. Yeah, that's legit. I'm sure I can look up if Microsoft bought Skype.
But on these particular items, Lung Cleanse, 50% off after being sold out for months. Vitamin Mineral Fusion, 50% off after being sold out for months. That's so good for adults and children. Vasobeat, so good for cardiovascular, creates key compounds that are known to be in the beet extract that are so good for you. Out of stock for months, finally back in stock. DNA Force Plus with the PQQ and the CoQ10, sold out for months and finally back in stock. Winter Sun, 50% off, sold out for months and finally back in stock. Ultra 12, sold out for months, now back in stock. Body's Ultimate Turmeric Formula, sold out for months, now back in stock. And here's something else. With all the stuff that's going on, use the lull in the storm. As I told you, more lockdowns are coming. It's going to intensify the depression, supply chain problems. They don't want to create a depression that's too bad. That's why they squeeze, let off. But it's incredibly dangerous. You need to get high-quality storable food. We have the best company. They have the highest quality. It's all packaged very, very well the last 25 years. It's something you're going to need in the next few years, I believe. But it's no problem because it's insurance you can eat. And with inflation on the horizon, I think we'll probably have quite a bit in the next 5-10 years. This is a great way to put something into the bank that'll taste great in a couple of years and save you money.
Shit, also buying a small to medium deep freezer and buying meat deals from butcher shops, if you can do that now under the COVID shit. And that'll save you a shitload of money on the price increase of meat alone. And I eat like a king.
So I would get your orders in now while it's 3 to 4 weeks for delivery. They got over that big hump, got it all delivered while you still can, because I predict you're going to see even bigger runs on storable food and things than we saw earlier this year. That's what I really think is going to happen. I think things are just going to get crazier from this time on.
Time to start prepping like our grandparents did. Know what I'm saying? What the fuck just happened?
Information just 5.5, 6 days from having to report to federal prison.
Sorry, having testicle difficulties.
Analysis on an unprecedented censorship. Bolsonaro is under the same attack, saying that his fans aren't.
Of course he is, because he's bringing back Brazil, baby. Isn't that him?
Well, now Facebook has done that.
He's a G. Didn't they try and kill this dude? And he came back?
Quote, cracks down on inauthentic activity. So ahead of his pardon? Or
no, I'm talking about Bolsonaro, not Roger Stone. But
the president doesn't act. They are.
You better fucking act.
Might cry out against this in another giant authoritarian exercise of evil. And
Stone's the canary in the coal mine, and what was that fucking general or some shit?
Cracking down on inauthentic information and quote a disinformation network. And they say,
I'm done exposing the fucking deep state. Let's fucking start locking these motherfuckers up.
Disinformation, because the ADL and the UN decide what is official, not just here, but worldwide. So
yeah, the Anti-Defecation League,
the telecommunications system,
a terrorist organization.
This next generation warfare that the Pentagon and the president must grow up to or be totally captured by it. But we are in World War IV right now. It's an information war. Roger Stone, thank you for joining us.
Alex, I'm great to be back with you. I apologize that we couldn't get our Skype up.
No problem. Let's just get right into it, my friend.
Well, right now I'm wearing an Alex Jones Did Nothing Wrong t-shirt that I was hoping you could see. But in any event, I'm glad to be with you.
What do you want to get into first?
Well, we just had developments only minutes ago in the U.S. District Court of Appeals. I'd like to jump into that real quick. Just as a quick review, as you know, when we learned that the current Department of Justice and U.S. Bureau of Prisons policy of releasing those inmates convicted of nonviolent crimes from prison to home confinement because of the dangers of COVID-19 apply for creepy porn lawyer Michael Avenatti, who stole $25 million, Michael Cohen, the ex-Trump lawyer convicted of financial crimes who became a witness against the president, and Rick Gates, Paul Manafort's former bagman, who got a 45-day sentence for multi-million-dollar tax crimes in return for false testimony against me. They are all in home confinement, but Roger Stone, at 57 and with a long history of pulmonary problems, mostly asthma, must report to prison next Tuesday. So Judge Jackson ruled, despite all precedents in her circuit and others for compassionate release, despite the reports of outstanding tests of COVID at the prison where they want to send me, he will always protect you. So I feel pretty good. Now, do I have inside information? No, I don't. I'm encouraged when I read this from Matt Gaetz because he is a close friend and protege of the president, but he's not returning my calls, so I couldn't tell you what it means. But it sounds pretty good, and it calms my wife down some, so we're just hoping for the best. I'm going to keep fighting, no matter what. But the reason they have to silence me is so obvious. If I were allowed to remain out of prison pending appeal, and I get to appeal, they will all be exposed, and they know it.
Well, Roger, I mean, the way they want you as this shrunken head, as this token of their victory, even the New York Times says about me, if we can just bankrupt Jones and shut him down or put him in prison, it'll be a consolation prize. But then we've got to get all of Trump's other supporters, even if Trump's removed, we've got to level them. We've got to burn them down. We've got to destroy all. They're talking about America. They literally want to drive us into submission and dominate us.
Well, I understand that, but although we are not committed to illegal tactics, I'm just as committed to fighting them as they are to fighting me. It is outrageous that they're going around the country tearing down statues of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln. But when black people are pulling down a statue of Frederick Douglass, this shows how ignorant they are. This shows how this has no point. It is violence for the sake of anarchy, violence for the sake of destruction. They have no plan for America. And I know many patriots in this country are not going to let that happen. They're not going to let them cancel our democracy. This next election is going to be the most crucial election in our lifetime. And they're going to cheat, and we're going to have to fight it out in the courts in the end, in my view. Thank God the president has appointed so many conservative jurists, fair-minded, honest conservative jurists.
Well, I don't know if that's the case, though, reflecting Gorsuch and Kavanaugh ruling against him on his tax returns today, 7-2. I know he's appointed over, 300 judiciary now. Well, it's thousands total, but, at the highest level. What do you make of that?
Boy, are they going to be disappointed when they find nothing whatsoever wrong in the president's tax returns. Nothing. They're going to find nothing. I mean, they're going to find that he paid a huge amount of taxes. They're probably going to find out that he used deductions that are perfectly allowable under the law to save paying taxes. But if he didn't do that, he'd be too stupid to be president.
Well, they already got some earlier ones and went, oh, look, he would put money in family trust. That's what every rich person does. But that's just standard, go to an accountant and do that. Go to a CPA or a tax lawyer if you've got any extra money. Not even rich people, middle class folks do that. Speaking of making things up, they're all over the news saying you use disinformation groups and that you're all over Facebook and Instagram, so anyone promoting you is going to be banned. And it's the same group that put out Russiagate hoaxes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it turns out that some outfit out of New York that is financed by 2 Wall Street firms. We're digging into that because I just have a suspicion we're going to find Soros money sooner or later. Put together this extraordinarily fabricated dossier, let's call it, in which they claim that I owned hundreds of fake Facebook accounts in the names of other people. Let's be clear. I've never owned one fake Facebook account in the name of another person. They suggest that I set up and controlled a vast network of fake sites to promulgate false information. Now, it's clever because it winds in and out with perfectly legitimate, legal, fully authorized political activity. I mean, there's no question. On my own Facebook pages, which are clearly identified as mine, on my own Instagram accounts, I have called out reporters who promulgate the fake Russian.
Sure, they're saying you communicating with people and then people on vacation with their dogs in Colorado putting a link to it. They're claiming that's a sock puppet of you and you've never met him. I mean, I went and looked at this. It's unbelievable how they defame but Bolsonaro, Reuters reports they just did the same thing to him. They're saying if his office or campaign ever even sends messages out to Facebook fans telling them thank you or responding back, that's disinformation.
Well, you're absolutely right. So in other words, if a person out there who has their own Facebook account where they post about their kids and their grandkids in their car and music and concerts and food and so on, but they happen to put up a post that is favorable to Roger Stone, they got shut down yesterday despite the fact that I might not even know who they are. The claim that I used fake Facebook posts to post some of the WikiLeaks disclosures, demonstrably, provably false. So these guys in New York, Graphica, and this woman who did the same kind of con job for the Senate Intelligence Committee, they will have ample opportunity to show their proof. Because, Alex, money has poured into my legal defense fund in the last 24 hours when I put out an appeal based on stopping the censors. I'm going to sue the crap out of all these people because this report is a pack of lies. Here's the other point. If you're a journalist, say with the Wall Street Journal, perfect example, and you report this as a fact without saying allegedly or may have, I'm coming after you too.
Roger, you are absolutely right. Again, that's why when I say we're all Roger Stone, they're coming after everybody. I could play CNN clips, MSNBC clips, New York Times articles where they say, after we get Trump and Roger Stone and Alex Jones and all of Trump's friends, we're going to punish all these people at every level. We're going to go after millions of people. I mean, these are terrorists. These are authoritarians. These are the real McCoy. These are the enemy. Roger, you still there? Well, that ended on a good note with Roger, so it's okay. His internet was cut off today, probably an accident. He's paid his bill. His computers keep getting, well, he got SWAT team. He got SWAT team by 23 FBI agents that grabbed everything. And then they left an actual wrong hard drive with a camera footage on it. Roger, you there? I've learned when to tap out, guys. I know when to tap out. All right. I have my instincts. I'm ready to tap out. Roger's not there. I'm not going to, the most amateur thing on talk radio, Howard Stern does this where he calls. He has prank callers call a radio station and then act like they're a guest or a caller and then go, hello, hello, and then say a little something and then not be there. And then say a little, I have a pet peeve, and it's that. Roger's cell phone's out. And so I'm not going to do this thing where I go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back. I'm not doing it. Anyways, the ongoing technical difficulties are fun. They are fun, and I refuse to wallow in them. Like, I'm going to go off air. I'm leaving. I refuse to be part of this crap. I'm telling you, man, because it's not that. It's the doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again. The failure, the criminals everywhere, and the devil doctors killing all the old people, and the liars like Bill Gates, and we all just sit here while they crap all over us. Okay, there is the UN. Well, Sacha Baron Cohen says, I want to talk about this, will have me arrested, but I'm going to talk about it. In fact, get Cohen queued up if we're able to do that. Great crew. I'm not mad at them. I'm just, it's little amateur pet peeve things I have. That we're done with it, buddy. We're done. We're done. We're done, 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 done. Ever again, ever again, ever again. All right. Ah.
Orwell canceled? Journalist says vile author aided Nazis. Quote, Orwell was a total fraud. Article by Paul Joseph Watson. Despite